The audacity of Karen was a spectacle, like a peacock strutting through a pigsty, oblivious to the muck. She stood on my land, her voice a siren of entitlement, claiming my home as her own while I clutched my deed like a lifeline. My name is Marcus, a third-generation farmer, and this patch of earth 10 acres of rolling hills and stubborn soil was my legacy. The day Karen stormed in, her SUV kicking up dust like a tantrum, I knew peace was a memory. It started on a Thursday, the kind of humid afternoon where the air clings like a second skin. I was repairing a fence post near the creek when her car screeched to a halt. Out stepped Karen, her neon pink tracksuit screaming against the earthy greens and browns of my property. Her face, puffed with indignation, was framed by a helmet of overbleached hair. She didn't walk. She marched, her flip-flops slapping the ground like they owed her money. In her hand was a crumpled piece of paper she waved like a flag of conquest. "You're trespassing," she bellowed, close enough for me to smell her floral perfume, aggressive as her tone. "This land is mine. I bought it fair and square. And you're squatting." I blinked, caught between laughter and disbelief. Squatting on land my grandfather tilled, my father fenced, and I'd poured my soul into. The deed was in my safe, notarized and unquestionable, passed down through decades of sweat. But Karen wasn't here for facts. She was here for war. "Ma'am," I said, keeping my voice steady, "this is my property. I've got the deed, the surveys, everything. You're mistaken." Her eyes narrowed, lips curling into a sneer that could curdle milk. "Don't you ma'am me, squatter. I know your type thinking you can steal what's mine because you've been here a while. I've got paperwork." She thrust her crumpled sheet forward, a printout from some shady real estate website, as if it trumped a century of history. I tried reasoning. "Let's check the records." "The county office." "County office." She scoffed, cutting me off. "I don't need your corrupt little friends to tell me what's mine. I'm calling the sheriff." Her phone was already out, fingers jabbing at the screen. I sighed, leaning against the fence post. If she wanted the sheriff, fine. Let the truth do the talking. While she ranted into her phone, I noticed a neighbor, old Mrs. Clara, watching from her porch across the road. Her rocking chair creaked as she leaned forward, eyes wide with curiosity. Clara knew my family, knew this land. She'd seen my father plant the oak by the cabin, watch me grow from a boy to a man. Her presence grounded me, a reminder that this wasn't just about might, was about legacy, about roots deeper than Karen's bluster. Karen's call ended with a triumphant smirk. "Sheriff's on his way. You're done, squatter." She crossed her arms, planting herself like she'd already won. I didn't argue. I'd learned long ago that some people don't hear until reality slaps them. Minutes ticked by, the sun dipping low, painting the hills gold. The tension was a living thing, coiling tighter with every smug glance Karen threw my way. She paced, muttering about justice and entitlement, oblivious to the absurdity of her claim. I stayed quiet, checking my phone for the time. The sheriff would sort this out. He had to. When the sheriff's cruiser rolled up, dust swirling in its wake, Karen's face lit up like she'd won the lottery. Sheriff Daniels stepped out, a tall man with a weathered face and eyes that missed nothing. I'd known him since high school. Good man. Fair. No patience for nonsense. Karen rushed toward him, her voice hitting a new octave of outrage. "Sheriff, thank God. This man's squatting on my land. I've got proof." She waved her paper again, practically shoving it in his face. Daniels raised a hand. Calm but firm. Let's take it slow. Ma'am. I'll need to see some documentation. He turned to me, and to Karen's visible shock, gave a small nod. Marcus. Been a while. Karen's jaw dropped. You know him. This is a conspiracy. You're all in on it. I handed Daniels my deed, pristine and official, along with the latest survey map. He scanned them, his expression unreadable, then turned to Karen. Your turn, ma'am. Her proof was a mess of blurry printout of a listing for a plot that wasn't even mine, located 2 counties over. Daniels didn't laugh, but I saw the twitch at the corner of his mouth. Ma'am, this doesn't hold up. Marcus's deed is clear. This land's been in his family for generations. Karen's face turned a shade of red that rivaled her tracksuit. This is outrageous. I paid good money. I'll sue. Ma'am. Daniels interrupted, his voice steel now. You're trespassing on private property. And from what I'm hearing, you've been harassing Mr. Thompson. That's not a good look. Harassing? Oh, she'd done more than that. As Daniel spoke, Clara shuffled over, her cane tapping the ground. Sheriff, I saw the whole thing, she said, her voice steady despite her age. She threatened Marcus, called him names, even tried to push him off his own fence. I've got it on my phone. Karen's eyes widened, panic creeping in. That's a lie. I didn't. Enough, Daniels said. He turned to me, and to my surprise, gave a small salutia gesture of respect I hadn't expected. Marcus, you've been patient. I'll handle this. Before Karen could spew another word, Daniels pulled out his cuffs. Ma'am, you're under arrest for trespassing and harassment. You can explain yourself at the station. The cuffs clicked around her wrists, and the sound was sweeter than any birdsong. Karen's bravado crumbled, replaced by a mix of shock and fury. You can't do this. I'm the victim. As Daniels led her to the cruiser, she kept shouting, her voice fading into the dusk. Clara gave me a nod, her eyes twinkling with quiet triumph. I exhaled, the weight of the day lifting. The land was mine. Always had been. Karen's mistake was thinking her noise could drown out truth. At the station, I learned the rest. Karen had fallen for a scam, wiring money to a con artist for a plot that didn't exist. Her anger, her entitlement, had blinded her to reason. She'd picked a fight with the wrong man, on the wrong land, at the wrong time. The charges stuck: trespassing, harassment, even a fine for filing a false report. She'd spend a night in a cell, her ego bruised worse than her wrists. I drove home as the stars came out, the cabin's silhouette a quiet promise of home. This land wasn't just dirt. It was my father's calloused hands, my grandfather's dreams, my own stubborn heart. Karen thought she could claim it with a shout and a piece of paper. She'd learned the hard way, you don't mess with a man's roots. The next morning, Clara brought over coffee, her phone still buzzing with neighbors texting about the Karen incident. We laughed, the kind of laugh that comes from surviving absurdity. The land was quiet again, the fence post fixed, the deed safe. Karen was gone, her SUV towed, her claims dust in the wind. Sometimes, justice is a sheriff's salute and a pair of cuffs. Sometimes, it's the land itself, standing firm against those who'd tear it down. For me, it was both. The end.